Today, I'd like to give you a quick overview of the Network Table's Investor Startup Meeting module, a specially designed version of our one-on-one meeting solution for meetings between, you guessed it, investors and startups. First, I'll guide you through the journeys of startups and investors, and then I will briefly show you the event organizer dashboard. Let's get started. Suppose I am a startup and I want to meet investors at your event. I receive an email, a little bit something like this, asking me to fill in a questionnaire and give some information about my company, so that investors know who they're dealing with. However, the basic information about who I am and what I do is already all in there, by means of an integration with the ticketing platform. In this way, attendees do not have to set up an entire profile themselves. Around the same time that startups are logging in for the first time, you, as an event organizer, can either give investors the option to specify at which time slots they're available, or give them a meeting table for the whole duration of the event. After their availability is established, they receive an email asking them to fill in a short questionnaire as well. In principle, that questionnaire looks something like this. It is important to note, however, that you can opt to customize the questionnaires for both investors and startups. After this, both startups and investors can start using the platform. They receive an email to notify them of this ability, and by clicking the link in that email, they're automatically logged in. Startups can see which investors will be in attendance and request meetings with them by clicking the orange button and providing a short motivation for their meeting request. Investors, similarly, can see which startups will be attending and get a feeling for their funding stage, business model, etc. Additionally, investors can filter startups based on predetermined criteria, which is especially handy for larger events. Both groups can book meetings with each other, with them being able to accept or decline these meetings based on investor profiles or startup motivation and profile. Since this particular event has already passed, the My Sessions page is purely used for me to see who I will meet and when I will meet them. From this tab, the attendee is also able to import his sessions to his calendar of choice. On top of that, I also receive a convenient email prior to the start of the event, which includes my full schedule and gives me some other practical information. You can see that it's easy for both startups and investors to derive a lot of value from the tool. The workings are purposely straightforward and the platform is easily navigable. And luckily, the same is true for the event manager's backend. Obviously, to set up the platform the way you like, some work is needed, but don't be afraid. We'll help you in a kickoff call, where we set up a timeline and go through a step-by-step process together. The most basic guide looks like this. First, you set up your event's details. Then, you set up your event's timeline and add sessions. These sessions will either be generated by letting investors indicate their availability, or simply by indicating that the investor is an approved investor through a button in the attendees pane, which I will get to later. Should you feel the need to, you're also able to manage meeting requests through this pane and set up or change other details, such as how long breaks will last and how many meeting requests one can maximally make. After this, you import your attendees, either by uploading a datasheet or linking network tables with event ticketing tools such as Eventbrite. The latter will make sure attendees are automatically imported when they buy a ticket, so that you don't have to do that manually. The Approved Investor button that I just mentioned is also displayed here, and if ticked, will automatically create a table for the investor for the whole duration of your event. You schedule your communication with your attendees and specify how many reminders you want them to have, for instance. While we believe the standard templates provide a good basis, you are, of course, free to change or add to them. By giving your attendees access to the platform, you go live. First, the investors and startups fill in their questionnaires, after which they can start requesting meetings with each other. Sometime prior to the big day of your event, you can then allocate the meeting slots. Our specially designed algorithm will then make sure all people who want to meet each other can actually meet each other at your event. After the event, you have the option to give attendees the opportunity to exchange digital business cards with each other in a GDPR-friendly manner. Thank you for watching. And as always, happy networking!